Today, I want to talk about books I think evoke wonderful holiday spirit energy and books that I just think are fun to read during the holidays. Very subjective list. I have 9 books to share, and I put them in 3 different categories. So here we go. The first category is giving you that like cozy family vibes or like it's a feel-good film, that sort of thing. And I have 3 for that. The first one is The House in the Cerulean Sea by T.J. Klune. I read this book in September. It is the coziest of cozy books. It's a story about Linus, who is a social worker, and his job is to check out these orphanages to make sure the kids are okay. The catch is that this is a world where there are magical creatures, and the kids he's checking in on are specifically children of magical creatures. It's a very, very cozy read. He ends up having to go to this island with a set of particularly special kids to check in on them, and it's about how he gets to know this family, and it's cozy. If you just need all the warm feelings, highly recommend it. I also have, in this kind of feel-good film vibe, although there are heavy-ish topics in this book, and that is A Man Called Uwe by Fredrik Backman. This is the story of a grouchy old man who is set in his ways, and one day people move in next door, and he kind of slowly starts to not completely hate them. I will say, trigger warning for suicide ideation in here. And he is also a man who has recently suffered a really, really hard loss for himself. But if you just want that contemporary book that just like, it has a sassy cat, it has a grouchy old man, like, I think there is a movie for this. This is a really nice, quick contemporary to pick up if the heavy topics are okay for you. And the last one in this category of just family, cozy, feel-good film, I'm putting the short story collection Once Upon an Eid. I read this recently, I think over the month of October, and I cannot express enough how these little vignettes of people celebrating the holiday of Eid was just evoking the holiday spirit in me. You have kids making traditional food, you have presents, you have breakings of tradition that the kids have to work through. It's very relatable, and I highly recommend it. If you don't know, Eid is the holiday that happens after Ramadan for the Muslim community. And it seems, based off these stories I read, very similar to the gift-giving spirit of Christmas. So after that month of fasting, you have this huge celebration of Eid. You go to places to have parties and eat great food. You open gifts. You dress up in your best outfits. It sounded very familiar to me, even though I've never celebrated it, and these stories were wonderful. And they're really easy to read because it's written for a middle grade audience, so if during the holidays you don't have a lot of time to read, you don't have a lot of focus, you just want that taste of goodness, Once Upon an Eid is just like joyful holiday spirits. And there are some heavier stories in there, but they're like relatable, heavy stories. Like, not every holiday season is perfect, but it always has hope, right? And I just really love it. So these are the 3 family cozy vibe ones, and let's move into my next category. These ones are the reads you need at the airport or when you're staying up late at night. You want these quick, fast, all-consuming reads, right? This is the time where you maybe do have time to read and you want that book that you cannot put down. This is me frequently during the holiday season. I stay up way too late reading books like this. The first one I will talk about, it's only going on this list because I've legit read it over 2 Thanksgivings, and that is A Court of Mist and Fury. This is a fantasy romance. It's a very addictive, compulsive fantasy romance. It is a sequel, so in theory, you need to read the first book first. In theory, you could also just, I don't know, read recaptions of it somewhere. It is a Beauty and the Beast retelling in the first story. It's very quick to get through. I think the first book in that series is fine. But in the second book, what our main character has to go through in handling her PTSD and depression and kind of what changes in her original relationship and like finding herself, add to that, you know, really addictive romance qualities in a book. I have spent hours reading it, and it's kept me up till 3 or 4 in the morning. So that's one I just couldn't not say, even though it is weird to recommend a second book in a series, but the first book's not like that much. I don't know. People who love Sarah J. Maas books, don't come at me. I just feel like you could just read ACOMAF if you just like had a synopsis of what happened in the first one. The next one I think that's a really quick read, so if you really need that all-consuming read, is An Unkindness of Magicians. This is a book I read recently where like the best thing about it is it's very, very fast pacing. I could not really put it down. It's the story of this tournament in New York City, and it determines which wizarding house has the most power, and there's a lot of intrigue because something's going on bad in the background. One of the main contestants has maybe like a mysterious past. It's really fast paced and really great. So if you just want that winter vibes too, because it takes place during winter, it's fast paced, it's winter, it's a good time. And the last one for this category I'll say is Vicious by V.E. Schwab. Vicious is the first in a duology, and it's about these two students at a school who kind of go from friends to enemies. And they're both kind of supernatural enemies because of stuff that happens in school. And that's all I'll say, because like a lot of the fun of the story is you get these flashbacks to learn how they got here and why they're suddenly enemies, and it's addictive. It's very, like I said, these are my fast-paced reads. These are the reads you need when you're like waiting around for your plane, or you know, when you really just want to sit down and be consumed by a book, which I do feel is a vibe that I get during the holidays. I want to read the book that I know will be engrossing to me. I don't want to be reading my hard reads. I am sometimes not in the mood to challenge myself during the holidays. The last category I will give you is atmospheric reads, and these are going to lean a little bit fantasy. And the first one is The Last Wish by Andrzej Sapkowski. These are also short stories, which I think are also great during the holidays if you really only have a minute. These are fairy tale inspired short stories about Geralt, the Witcher of Rivia, which, you know, there's a TV show and a video game. And I don't know, I just love the atmosphere of it. And I love the slight tweaks on the fairy tales we give here. So if you want that atmospheric read, if you want to just get cozy and like read a short story, I think these are really great. I do think of this as like a fall winter read for me. So, and I might even have a Witcher book on my December TBR. I'm still thinking about it, but I just find the Witcher series like a very winter fall cozy series to read. And then also, this is a book that I have read over the course of 2 days over the Christmas holiday, and that is Uprooted by Naomi Novik. This also could be in that very quick read category depending on who you are, but primarily it is very atmospheric. It's about Agnieszka and how she gets taken away by the dragon who is the sorcerer that protects her village from this creepy forest. And the creepy forest vibes are great. Her discovery of magic is really cool. If you like the romance I think is really fun, but if you don't like the romance, there is this really wonderful friendship in this story. I really like it. It's one of my favorite standalone novels because it is such a really good complete thought. It has tropes that I like, but it's also its own unique thing. So I got Uprooted on Christmas Eve one year, and I think I finished it December 26th. It was like a great book for me to read over the Christmas holiday. The last book I'll mention, well, it's a trilogy, is the Winternight trilogy, because if you need those winter vibes, you have to read this trilogy. It's so good. I'm actually considering rereading it for this holiday season just because it's going to be cozy and atmospheric. It is cold. It is winter. It's wonderful, especially if you like our main character, who is definitely like the odd one out in her village. She has a deeper connection to the like older religions, and she kind of doesn't really feel like getting messed up with a lot of things, but then this priest kind of starts messing with her, and it's a really interesting thematic book. It's great character work. I really love the setting. I love the Winternight trilogy, and it's due for a reread for me because it's beautiful. It will probably make you cry, and it's winter. It's the winter series. I don't know anything else except for maybe Spinning Silver that is more winter than it. So these are the 9 books I thought I'd talk to you guys about that are kind of random, but they are all books that have worked well for me during the holidays, or books that I think would be great to read during the holidays. Let me know what your go-to holiday read things are. Like, do you like the quick reads? Do you like the cozy atmospheric reads? Do you like the contemporaries more? Like, is there a genre you go to? I'm always curious because I feel like we all have our different like nostalgia and moods for the holiday season, and these are just ones that like kind of fit mine. And if you did make it this far and just want me to know you're here, put a snowflake in the description below. And otherwise, like if you liked it, subscribe if you want to, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.